So a year ago, as we entered 2023, the automotive industry was like standing on the mountaintops talking about how EVs were unquestionably the future, right? And it wasn't just the automotive industry, it was politicians on certain sides of the aisle were saying the same thing. Automotive media was saying the same thing. Don't forget that. The automotive media absolutely turned their back on a lot of enthusiasts, just like the automotive industry did. And here we are a year later, and it doesn't seem like it totally panned out the way they wanted to, did it? The EV agenda. I'm not saying that EVs are not the future. I can't read the future. Not saying that EVs aren't growing. But what I am saying, and what's evident, is that EVs have not grown at the pace that they told us they would. The mass population of America is not on board with this. And on top of that, we're really not on board with being told what we're going to do. That's against the American DNA. They introduced EVs in about the worst way possible under a lie of sustainability and green. Okay? People are catching on to that. It's horseshit. It's BS. It was a lie. Like we've seen a lot of lies from our politicians in recent years, honestly, thinking that the people are dumber than we actually are and maybe more sheepish than we actually are. And we'll just follow the herd wherever it goes, right? Like they're thinking they can manipulate us. What they're finding out now is that that's not necessarily the case. People want truth. People understand when they're being lied to. Maybe some a little bit faster than others, but like, whatever. The narrative of the EV movement is changing. Read any current news article and it's not looking so good. And I'm not just trying to like rub the automotive industry's nose in their mess here. I mean, I kind of am. But there's a bigger picture here. They're not the only ones that they're hurting. For example, I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but I know that in early 2023 and in 2022, Ford, for example, is making tremendous claims about how many Lightnings they're going to sell. It's something like 150,000 Lightnings in 2023. Well, that number ended up being like 20,000. A big problem here is that the automotive industry is listening to Wall Street and they're not listening to themselves and they're not listening to their customers. It's like, in a sense, they're completely unaware or uncaring of what their customers' interests or needs even are at this point. And that's because Wall Street has infiltrated the automotive industry. Wall Street likes to invest in things that are net zero, sustainable, green, electrified, like words like that, they want to invest in. Words like mechanical combustion, things like that, not so much. So the automotive industry has started kissing the ass of Wall Street to their demise. But unfortunately, it's not only them that they're hurting. Mark my words here, because look, I'm not bragging. I say this humbly. We at S3 have been right a lot about this and about other things. And I'm just saying, mark my words here. They're not just hurting themselves. They're not just tanking their own company. When Ford comes out and says they're going to make 150,000 Ford Lightnings this year, their suppliers have to prepare for that. They have to make orders for that. They have to build factories and tool up for that kind of production. And then Ford comes back and says, it's not going to be 150,000. It's going to be 20,000. Well, shit rolls downhill, guys. And so Ford is screwing their suppliers over. The people that supply the suppliers are going to get screwed over. This is the kind of thing that starts to crash economies. And guys, friends, we are not in a place right now where we need a catalyst like that to start crashing an economy. I'm telling you where this is going. This is going towards bailouts. This is going towards, if it's not a bailout, they're going to start screwing over suppliers, which are going to have to start laying off staff. And guess what? A lot of the American population right now is living on credit cards. They can make that monthly note and stay afloat. But when they start losing jobs, it starts getting bad fast. They start not paying their credit cards first. Their cars come second. Their houses come last. And the whole thing crashes like it's 2028 because of bad business practices, because of not reading the room and knowing your customers, and because of kissing the ass of Wall Street that does not have your best interests in mind. We have got to start learning from some of these mistakes. And you know what? I used Ford as an example. I actually commend Ford for kind of being an open book and being honest, albeit sometimes stupid, but at least they're honest with what they're thinking and what they're doing. And through their honesty, we can start to see where this is going if they do not wise up and start putting their customers first. Happy New Year.